I just thought I'd share a couple words with you. Guys. If you going through a tough time, feels like you hit a brick wall and all of that in life and all of that. Certain things may not be going your way. You feel as though that you've done all you can do, and you're thinking about throwing in the towel. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't. Just a quick story, true story. You know, when I was like about maybe 19, going on 20, I wanted to get my driver's license, and just the permit to get my learner's permit. I took the permit 5 times. I failed the permit test 5 times before I passed it. That's a true story. And I felt like I was doing everything right. And I just felt like, you know what? I felt like quitting. I wanted to, because I felt as though I did everything that I could do. I took the test 5 times, and you know what? I didn't pass it. Until, I talked to a couple people or whatever, and, they just kept telling me, stick with it. And I kept reading the book, finally passed my permit test to get my regular driver's license. This is when I was like 2021. I can't remember. I had it long enough. But I stuck with it. I was persistent. You got to be persistent. And the crazy thing is, when I tell people this story, like, well, I failed my learner's test 5 times. First thing they say is, well, I'd have quit after the 3rd time. You know what I tell them? I said, that's the difference between me and you. You must not want it bad enough. If you're willing to quit and give up on it that easy, you must not want it that bad. Same thing with getting my commercial driver's license. I took the test so many times because I had to take it. It's a 2-part test. You got to take your actual knowledge test, and then you got to take your air brakes exam. 2 separate exams that you got to take. And I took that maybe like a total of maybe like 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times just to get the permit. And I failed the road tests, I'd say a good 3 times. Always parallel parking. Trying to parallel park the tractor trailer. I failed that test like 4 times. But I stuck with it. If you really want it bad enough, you're going to stick with it. After a while, coming up short or failing, I don't like to use the word fail, but when you come up short, after a while, you're going to feel like immune to it. It's not going to bother you. It got to the point where I was like, well, you know what? If I don't pass it this time, I'm coming back next week. If I don't pass it next week, I'm coming back the week after that. Because I needed that. I need that. And like I was telling you, like I said before, when I talk to people about that, they always so quick to say, well, if I was you, I'd have quit. I'd have quit after the 3rd or 4th time. Yeah, your ass would have still been on the bus. So if you going after something, whether it's a position at work, whether it's anything, you're trying to get an exam, anything going on with school, you have to stick with it, and you have to be persistent. And now I run into the same people now, and they're just like, yo, they tell me, well, I'm glad you stuck with it. That's because I felt like I had no choice. I had no choice but to stick with it. So that's just my little message for the evening. It's just, if you are going after something that you really, really want, really, really bad, you have to stick with it. You have to. So, like I said, just stick with it. Be persistent, and you also got to be aggressive at it. You got to be aggressive. It's just, well, I'll take it next week. Well, it's raining outside. I'll go tomorrow. No, get out there in the rain and take that test. If you got to catch the bus to go down there and take it, go down there and take it. Because if you, well, you know what, I'll study tomorrow. I'll take the test next week. You don't want it bad enough. I'm sorry to tell you, but you don't want it bad enough. So that's just my little message for the. Like I said, that's just my little message for the evening. I ain't gonna keep rambling too long. So, like I said, bottom line is this: you on after something, you want it bad enough, you have to stick with it. Stick with it.